Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Match Reaction Live here on the Toon Review YouTube channel. And what an absolute farce we've just watched there. Jade, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Paul. How are you?
Not well,
Nope.
after watching that pile of
Silly
crap.
question.
Yeah, that was simply just awful. I mean, that is one of the worst Arsenal sides we have seen in years, in absolute years, and we basically play against their reserves and play like that. Absolutely shocking, and they should be ashamed of themselves. Every single one of those today, Jade.
Yeah, literally 2 words: cowardly and pathetic. None of them were up for that game at all. They were all just went missing. I have no idea what happened or what was said, but I've never known a team that go out and not care less. They literally could not have cared less that in the whole 90 minutes. And then, like you're saying, you're playing the worst Arsenal side that we've seen in years. We came out and gave Liverpool, West Ham a game. Should be the same attitude, but they've come out, not shown up, and they were there to take, and they weren't very good. But we were just absolutely shocking, and we've gone back to normal service, resumed with that performance. It was just absolutely dreadful. One
shot on target in the whole match, and that was a miss kick by Maxi. I mean, that almost looped over Matt Ryan's head. That's how bad we were today. One shot against Arsenal reserves in one of the worst Arsenal squads of all time. I mean, it's just disgusting. There was no effort, and I'll tell you something now, right? This relegation battle suddenly becomes interesting again, because if you look at Fulham's next 2 games, they are Burnley and Southampton. Right now, Scott Parker is a very sensible guy, and he will have his head together and think, hang on a minute, they've got Leicester and Man City, we've got Burnley and Southampton. I know which 2 teams I'd rather be playing, and it's an opportunity. It's a massive opportunity for Fulham to close this gap again, and it's game on again.
Well, yeah, today they were playing like they were already safe, and that's what baffled me. I was like, you do realise this is probably one of the easiest games we have in our hard run. I'm dreading what the likes of Man City and Leicester will do at that defence and what will do to us, because a better team today would have absolutely tore us apart. And it is absolutely shocking that we've gotten into that game thinking that we're safe. Like now, all of a sudden, I know obviously the points we have against Burnley and like West Ham, they did help, but 3 points or even a point today would have put us in a much better position, and we could have got that today if we were just turned up. They are nothing special. They're nothing at all.
Mike says normal service is resumed, total rubbish from start to finish. And Bruce, don't blame the sending off. If Bruce is in charge next season, I dread to think of what will happen. I mean, Granit Xhaka should have been sent off. There's no doubt about that. I don't think anybody's in any doubt that he should have been sent off and given a yellow card for that. It was blatant, but he didn't. But that wouldn't have changed the game, in my opinion, because we created nothing. The service to Callum Wilson was abysmal. St. Maximan's final ball was pathetic today. And Miggy, once again, just isn't turning up. And he needs taken out the firing line, as far as I'm concerned. He needs to be taken out, someone else given the game, because Miggy is not doing it. Yes, he was there to clear one off the line in the first half, but that's all he did. He lost the ball a couple of times. It just seemed to run off his feet. I mean, there was nothing there from Newcastle United today. The Fabian Schär sending off, I mean, I don't know what he was thinking going through the back of a player like that. I mean, that was a painful one for Martinelli. You can argue till the cows come home if it was a yellow or a red. The fact is it was a red. He's gone. You know, VAR looked at it and said there was no obvious error from the referee. They're quite happy with that. And on you go.
But why? Why did he need to do that? It was just stupid. He's a professional footballer. You should know better than to do that. Especially with I know, like, obviously Mike Dean isn't one of my favourite referees. I think he's shite. But yeah, he is. I just think it was just reckless. There was just no need. And then the commentator saying, "Oh, it's frustration." Why is he frustrated? He's just came on the pitch. And yeah, if you're frustrated, put in the proper way and start playing football, getting the ball forward and helping the team, not become a bloody liability. And he's done that a couple of times, Shaw. He's he's lunged in and he's been lucky, I think, a few times this season. And now it's came and bite him in the arse. And like, again, that wasn't going to change our game. But now we've lost him for pretty much the majority of the rest of our games. And we could have used him because I think he would have been a great involvement. But now he really didn't fucking do it on purpose. He couldn't be arsed. Like,
well, it wouldn't surprise me, to be honest.
Like, I don't surprise any of them who do that. Again, it's so frustrating because we could have really got ourselves out of this now. We could have been flying. No, mathematically we wouldn't have been safe, but practically you couldn't have seen Fulham doing anything else to catch us now.
Well, today was our opportunity. Yeah, exactly. Today was our opportunity. We should have done better. It was a reserve side. Look at the players that Arsenal had on the bench, man. They had nowhere near the first team out. Nowhere near in that starting 11 was their first team. And, that comment by Luke, we need to be very, very, very careful about this, because Luke says, I wanted Newcastle to win today because I hate Arsenal. Unlucky, you're definitely safe because Fulham are rubbish. Now, we need to be careful what we're saying about Fulham, because, like I say, Scotty Parker will look at this and think, right, we have literally still got a chance. We've got an opportunity now to pull some points back on Newcastle, because I can't see us getting anything at Leicester next Friday. I can't see us getting anything against Man City. Definitely not. So can you imagine what Vardy and Iheanacho are going to do against us next week? I mean, Arsenal didn't have a... Oh, God. Honestly. Kendo says we allowed them an effortless training ground performance. Even Willock was caught yawning from the stands.
Yes.
Yeah. Michael says back to normal. Wasted another opportunity to pick up points. Ross says Sean Longstaff needs to be dropped. He's so bad. He can make a 5-yard pass, and neither can Baldy prick Shelvey. Shelvey, for me... I mean, he just wasn't worth a start again. Longstaff wasn't great either, to be fair. I mean, they were coming through our midfield far too easy. I don't think there was one player that stood out for me today, in fairness, to say that they deserve praise. I thought Dummett was completely caught out for that first goal. You should not be letting Bellerin round the back like that when there's a wing back and a central defender there. Matt Ritchie on the replay, he clearly points to the man he's going for. Dummett seems to just stand there, delay it too long. Bellerin's round the back, and you're knackered then. But where was the closing down on the edge of the box? We've got Longstaff and Shelvey miles apart from each other and no effort.
All the space in the world I had there.
Embarrassing. Brian says, Paul, that game was shite. Have you ever noticed, ever since Ashley bought our club in 2008, year by year, he's been stripping it from staff, people who don't know anything about football, two bad players. Yeah, I mean, we aren't a club at the minute. We just aren't. Paul says, standard, a struggling team gets handed a win at Newcastle, nothing new here. Exactly. Effing disgrace, says here too. Jake says, if West Brom beat Wolves, remember they almost beat Villa, it's going to be a nervous run till the end of the season. Now, if West Brom win and beat Wolves, they go above Fulham. And they will have renewed hope as well. It just gives those bottom clubs just a bit of renewed ambition, Jade, that they can get out of it.
Of course it does. I wasn't worried a couple of weeks ago about West Brom catching up to us at all. I did think that at one point they will overtake Fulham, but now both of them clubs will be sitting there thinking, well, how are we, lads? We've got a bit of a chance here, because their run-ins are significantly less hard than ours. Because I can't see us picking up, maybe Sheffield United, obviously, is the one that you're going to go for, get the 3 points. Fulham at the end of the season now is becoming a crucial game. And I said a few weeks ago, it cannot go down to that last game because we will bloody bottle it. And if they've got fans in their stadium, it's just game over for me. So I think we needed to wrap this up today. I thought, if we could even get a point or 3 points, we could have been looking back thinking, that's fine, let them get on with it. But the way Brighton played again yesterday as well, they were fantastic against Wolves. Against Leeds. And they played really well. And then obviously now they're pretty much out of it. So it is now playing later. Burnley get 3 points. Again, dragged back into it, and it is. I think Fulham will be looking a bit more cheerful than they were last week, because I think, like you said, they've got a canny game that they probably could win or get a point from.
Well, it's certainly not over in my eyes yet now. Emily says, hi, Paul and Jade, great show. Do you know Emily, Jade?
I do, yes.
Oh, you do? Right, okay. Just the way you nodded there. Stephen says, how on earth is Shelvey getting a game? He's absolutely horrendous. Nobody knows. Luke's out with disgusting challenge, talking about Fabian Schär, I presume. Chipper says, thing is, this performance is what we've seen week in, week out. We've just got lucky other teams didn't take their chance. And I've been bellowing on for ages, these previous points that we've picked up, we've still been pathetic. Now, I did say that I'd rather see us get some points on the board than performances, but enough's enough here. The performances, all season have been rotten to the core, and it's not going to get any better under Steve Bruce. There is no doubt about it that this didn't even look like a team of players playing for the manager. Yet last week we see a goal against Liverpool and they're all jumping on Steve Bruce and celebrating, but today there just seemed to be just a division between the players. They just didn't know where each other was. The passing was horrendous. There was no commitment, Jade, at all. Not one committed player to try and get anything from that game today.
Absolutely not. It reminded me of the performance against Brighton. I think the last couple of games we have had some tenacity to kind of keep going. Again, the performances over the past few weeks have been shocking still, apart from the last 10, 15 minutes of a couple of good passes and moving forward. But it's again like this has happened the whole season, and I think today his luck ran out of them 4 games because we didn't deserve to win any of the games or draw the games that we did. It was just pure luck that we did it. And I'm not going to kind of quaffle over that because we did the points. But at the beginning of the match, when they're like, oh, yeah, Steve Bruce, he's done brilliant. Like, oh, he's had hard time from the fans and the pundits and the media. Like, what pundits and media?
Yeah.
Like, he's had no stick from them at all. And you can't keep watching that Newcastle side and telling me that Steve Bruce is a good manager. I'm sick of hearing it now. You watch Newcastle week in, week out, and you'll see exactly what kind of team we are. We're pathetic, we're cowardly, and we're just arses go as soon as we need to show up. We're just
and you know what it is? I said to John on his watch along before the substitutions were made. I said, just wait till the subs are made. It'll be the usual suspects that he brings on. I mean, he puts Shah on for Fernandes. Was Fernandes injured? I'm not so sure.
You look knackered though. That's what I was concerned about.
They all look knackered. The fitness of the team is absolutely dreadful. But then he takes off Almiron for Joe Linton. So a like for like there, really. Useless and useless. And I'm sorry to say that about Almiron, but he just is at the minute. He's just a waste of a shirt. I mean, I know he's not playing in his proper position, but still, he's offering nothing going forward. And he's losing the ball. He's giving it away. He's just all over the place. And then he brings on Dwight Gale. I mean, honestly, you know, this guy just is absolutely terrible.
3 strikers on that pitch and none of them could get a shot on target. Like,
wow,
it is baffling.
It says it all.
But you look at that bench and you think, right, who can you come on to change this game right now? There's literally no one there in my eyes. The squad is paper thin, and if you've got a few injuries with Hayden, we're looking at being able to play. You can't bring anyone on to change a game because they're all just as bad as each other. It just needs a total overhaul. Look at that Arsenal defence,
Jayde. Look at that Arsenal defence. I mean, they were there to get at. You know, Xhaka at left back.
Like, he was running at him.
Well, exactly. He's booked just before the 20th minute. Yeah. So put ASM on that wing and tell him to go at Xhaka non-stop. Get the ball, just run at Xhaka and get him sent off. Xhaka's got no pace. He's a terrible tackler. He was there to be sent off. Now, yes, he should have got a yellow card in the second half. But I'm talking about the first half when you're thinking, right, manager's brains, tell ASM to go on the right-hand side and give Xhaka hell. Run at him non-stop. But no, he didn't. He didn't do that because he's inept. He's not a good manager.
That's the problem. He hasn't got a manager's brain. That's his problem.
Yeah, exactly.
There's not a thought behind those eyes when he stands on that sideline. He's just like, oh, we're losing. Oh.
Yep. 80s game, it says Callum Wilson was shocking today also for Newcastle United. Everyone needs to take a look in the mirror after today's performance. I think he's right. Callum Wilson was off form as well. I mean, he didn't get the ball a lot, but when he didn't have much to go at, let's be fair. I mean, it's very hard for a striker like Callum Wilson when you don't know where your next cross is coming from, or you don't know where anybody's bloody playing half the time. You know, they're just running all over the pitch. Layla says, just imagine Brentford were in the Premier League and they were in Fulham's position. You know, they'd be pushing and pushing and pushing. Anthony says, most of the players are on the beach as they think we're safe. Well, they're going to get a big shock. Shah sending off reminded me of Fraser going at Sheffield United. Yeah, they did. I mean, he was a bit... I think he was good, but I think it was, like you said before, Jayde, it was a stupid tackle. You just didn't need to do it. Just hold him up. Liam says, can't wait to go back to watching lower league football. 80s Gamer says, we deserve to go down. I really believe that. Do you know what? John said that during the watch-along, that he thinks we deserve to go down. And as much as it pains me to say it, I actually agree with him. I think we deserve to go down because of the absolute stinking attitude that we've had from the manager this season and from some of those players who just don't care about the shirt, don't care about the badge, and certainly don't care about the fans. They've had it easy this season because there's no fans in that ground. They don't have to face the flak, and it's getting beyond pathetic now. And you know what? Fulham, for me, you're a better footballing side than us.
Yeah,
and
100%.
You know, West Brom are showing more fight than we've showed all season. You know, so in a way, if we go down, we've only got ourselves to blame, and we deserve it.
Yeah, I would agree with that, but it is like I know when the glory days now, but we are Newcastle United. We should not be, and it is just for 14 years of neglect from a horrible owner who couldn't give a shit about her. The fact that we're in this position is absolutely heartbreaking. I don't want to be top 4 every season, but at least a bit of fight. That's all I want to see from Newcastle side, and we've completely lost that. And like you say, if we do get relegated, they've got no one else to blame but themselves. Ashley probably lose a lot of money, and that's because he's stuck with Bruce. We've told them this at the very beginning of the season. That man should not have been in that dugout at all. But no, he was an easy yes man. And paying for the fucker. Who pays to have Steve Bruce at that football club? He hasn't got a football in mind, actually. All he cares about is his businesses like Sports Direct, House of Fraser. He doesn't know how to run a football club. And it's been for the past 14 years, we've had to sit and put up with this. And now, I believe, if we do honestly go down, we are not going to back up straight away unless a takeover happens. Because he won't sack Bruce. Just keep him. Because he's a championship manager. He'll probably do all right there. But we'll lose. That's
exactly what
players.
Ashley will say. You say, well, he's been in the championship many seasons. We'll just keep him.
Who are we going to attract next season? Absolutely no one. We'll probably lose Maxi. Wilson, obviously, maybe looking elsewhere. Miggy, not like he's going to be a bit of a miss at the minute, but our squad next season will be next to nothing because he won't spend. We'll be looking for loans, and I dread to think, even if we do stay up without a takeover, this is going to be us again next season, and maybe even worse.
God, it's painful. It's sad. It's so sad.
Heartbreaking.
Andy says, WTF have I just watched? I would have thought after Spurs and Liverpool, we would play with some confidence. Are the players deliberately doing this to get Bruce out? I just can't get my head around it. I mean, I can't either, to be honest. I can't get my head around. I thought today that, given the Arsenal situation, that they're in the Europa League semi-final, second leg on Thursday, their minds are clearly elsewhere. Now, obviously, the players that come in will want to fight and will want to play because they'll want to give the manager a headache before Thursday's game. They will want to perform for Arteta and say, hang on, I'm still here, I'm available to play, and I think I can play a part in the second leg, which is fair enough. You'd expect that from your players. But I honestly thought that we might have gone out and actually gone at them and tried to put them under pressure, given who they had in defence. Their defence was to be got at today. Gabriel is not that good, in my opinion. And quite frankly, Xhaka at left back needed to be got at straight away. But we didn't. We just didn't put them under any pressure. We didn't give them any headaches throughout the game. And like your comment said earlier, it was like a training session. And that is shocking because of where Arsenal are. Jake goes on to say, even a draw today would have been an okay result just for the point alone, not in a position for free hits. It wasn't the free hit today. The free hit today was for Arsenal. Arsenal had a free hit because it didn't matter today to them whether they won or lost. It really didn't. But when they obviously started the game, put pressure from the word go, you could see in the first 4 or 5 minutes before they scored how we were going to play. It was sitting behind the ball and let them have it against a reserve team. It's just wrong. Liam said it'll be like watching porn against Leicester and Man City. I actually fancy Fulham staying up now. Bruce out. A2 says, I'm so sick of Bruce. It's unbearable. Individual moments and look, he lives off it. Just fuck off. Yeah, he does live on that. And he's lived on that all season. And that's the problem that we find ourselves in, that he's had more lives than a cat.
Yeah. He has, and today obviously it ran out and it shows just how bad he actually is with his formations and his man management, even though obviously Shelby claims he's the best man manager he's ever worked with. That just shows you exactly what type of person Shelby and Bruce are. But even when we got the ball and we got forward, there was no one there. It was Callum Wilson in the box by himself. Richie made a lovely run, got a lovely ball, left-hand side, aiming at Callum Wilson, no one else. You had Maxi next to Richie. There was Sean Longstaff right on the other side, Jacob Murphy running in. There was nothing there, and we didn't deserve anything from that game because we actually were shocking, and it was just diabolical to watch. It was really poor.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, what got me was when we break, right? When we break away, and then we just stop. I mean, there was one in the first half. Miggy breaks away, right? Callum Wilson. It showed you on a replay. Callum Wilson made a brilliant run, and he was pointing where he wanted the ball. Miggy stopped, went backwards, and then ended up losing the bloody ball. That's what I'm talking about. But that's,
you run forward, they stop, they go, I'm not allowed to pass the ball forward. I'll turn back and see who's behind us. And this has happened all season, though. Every time I've watched them play, they'll break forward, even on a counter, and they're like, I can't pass the ball forward, can't possibly do that. Martin Dubravka's free. Darlow's free. Get it back to them, we'll play out again. And is it once again this whole playing out from the back there was a few sketchy moments where I thought, oh my God, just get rid of it.
We can't do that.
You're not Barcelona. Stop trying to pass it between yourself. Just get it out. They don't get
Dubravka's distribution isn't good enough either, is it? I mean,
definitely not.
When he doesn't kick it out to play, the defenders are scrambling back to get the ball. He plays it behind them. It's just not a way to play out for us because we don't have the players.
No.
Dave says, hi, Paul and Jayde. Shocking performance. Relegation is back on now. It's certainly in the mix. It's not over yet. If Fulham do lose their next game, then yes, I think we're safe. But Fulham have to win those 2 games. But it'd be very, very interesting. Jake says, Bruce has already seen a big gap from drop zone narrow in just a couple of weeks. He can't take it for granted again. Exactly. Fulham have done it before. We have to remember, Fulham were poor earlier on in the season, which is why they are where they are. But then they put a run together. No one can say that they can't do that again and put another run together and catch us. But I mean, it'll be a miracle if they do. They've also done it before, many seasons ago. When they went the Etihad and won and things like that. They can do it.
They can do that. That's what they have in their arsenal, though, isn't it? They can actually, because they play attacking football and get at teams and they look at their weaknesses. And Scott Parker proper kind of riles them up to say, like, you're not a team that's in relegation. Go out and fight. I don't see that from Steve Bruce. I can't imagine him in the dressing room going, "You're not safe, guys. Go out, have a go at them." He'll just be like, 11 men behind the ball. We'll see what we can do on the counter. That is literally his game plan, week in, week out.
I mean, you could just see it, though, couldn't you? That it'd be West Brom that actually catch us and relegate us. Just because Sam Allardyce, the whole Sam Allardyce situation, it's written in the stars. It's Newcastle United. Something like that is bound to happen. But, we have to battle on, I guess, don't we?
100%. You just got to try. I mean, we can't keep thinking about Fulham because we've had a lot of teams that have done us a lot of favours this season by beating Fulham, but we've got to concentrate on our own games. We have to win the games we have, and I hate the fact that with Newcastle in the past few seasons, our fate is in the hands of other teams, and I can't stand watching their games thinking I want this other team to win so they get beat. Like, I hate that. And today, our fate was in our own hands today, and we could have literally pulled away, and we didn't do that. We didn't take that chance, and we are where we are because of that.
It's just pathetic. It just some of those players on that pitch really boil my piss. They really do, because they've got no sense of achievement, no sense of pride. They just go behind and that's it. We didn't force Arsenal into any trouble today. None at all.
Not at all. They had all the space in the world. They could have just walked around that pitch and no one would have bothered with them.
Yeah, one little miss kick from Miggy, from ASM, which almost looped over Matt Ryan. He made a good save. Yeah. That was it. Nothing else. A2 says, and for fuck's sake, and some journalist, please ask Bruce why Shelvey has never dropped and never subbed. Another goal conceded from a pullback and an unmarked midfielder. And this is what we said.
Because Shelvey lives up Steve Bruce's arse. As simple as that. He's going to see, he's a great manager. That's why he's captain. As simple as that, because he's always backed Bruce. But both of them just need to fuck off out of this club because I hate them. Honestly, I don't use them lightly, but they are literally everything I hate about this Newcastle side. There's no passion. They couldn't give a shit for that badge. All they care is about getting the money, and they think they're doing a good job. Like Shelvey today, again, absolutely dreadful. What does he give to this team? I would love to let Steve Bruce tell me what Shelvey provides for the team. He's not a captain. He doesn't shout and rally the team together. He doesn't bother people when they do something wrong. He can now obviously is an odd ball he can pass, but he's not as the good passer as he was. He gives us nothing, and yet he still gets first name on the team sheet every week with a captain's armband, and it's absolutely baffling.
There's no leadership from him. Absolutely none.
Absolutely nothing.
He doesn't go around bollocking players. He doesn't go around inspiring players, giving them a pat on the shoulder or just a J up, But he leads by total misexample because he doesn't make any effort to win footballs. His passing is atrocious now, and he just doesn't even try. He can go on about his body language all he wants, like he did in his last interview, saying, I give the impression that I don't care. No, you don't care. You're just in it for the money now. You're finished. Liam says, we're another Sunderland under this regime when Sunderland were in the Premier League. It can happen. Bruce is the worst manager we've ever had. Ian goes on to say, pathetic performance. Sometimes I wish we were going down for sure as this is torture. We are crap, really crap. And Brucey did it my way, tosspot. Yes. And, we are fourth off bottom in the Premier League. So, whichever way you look at it, we're 17th, and it is absolutely abysmal. And, they just wind up merchants. They really are. They're just winding us up as fans. Sunday League players look more fit than ours. You wouldn't go wrong there. I'll tell you, the fitness. But again, that comes down to the regime and the fact that we're only training 3 days a week. He doesn't train them properly, and we get injuries. We tire in games. 2-0 down. Did you see any fight at all to say that team wanted to be back in the game?
Did I shite? They were absolutely shot. And I don't understand. It was kind of like, even when you see the goals go in previous games, you can see them go off, for God's sake, but there was nothing. The goals went in, they were like, oh, well, back we go. There was just absolutely nothing. And it's just, they forget where they are. I said before, they forget where they are. They do know that they could still get relegated, don't they? Why isn't Bruce kind of drilling that into their heads to say, guys, you need to keep going? But we've had countless opportunities this season to be away from this. The Brighton game for one, which was shocking. There was we should not be where we are, but because of poor management, and I don't know if that's kind of rubbing off on the players, because obviously players don't want to be in this position, they want to be kind of the best they can be, but they look like they don't care, and that's what really hurts us. I feel like the past couple of games, I could forgive the performance because it did look like they cared and they wanted to have a go, but today it's literally come back to how we were at Brighton, where they couldn't give a shit, the heads just dropped. And I'm going to hear Kieran Clark come out and go, yeah, we just weren't up for the game. Why? I want to know why.
That's happened before. Yeah. The thing is, it's the team we were against as well that pisses me off the most. We're against a team who really are just finished in the Premier League this season. They can't go anywhere or do anything in the Premier League. It's done for them. Now, they've got their mind on a Europa League Cup semi-final, second leg, the 2-1 down. They want to keep all their fitness. They want to keep everything. They've got no interest in this game at all. Yet we just say, there's the ball, play around us, have a good afternoon. They couldn't have asked for a more easier game today to play before a semi-final in Europe. Honestly,
they would give them confidence as well. They would have, if I was Michael Arteta, I'd be like, fucking hell, it's easy.
Exactly.
Didn't even try. Didn't even try. Kid hasn't scored a single Premier League goal. Up steps Newcastle. Obviously, it was a canny shot, but I mean, there was no one around him. Literally.
Do you think Dubravka could have done better?
I did say that, when I saw it going, I was like, he should have been getting down a bit quicker to get that.
Yeah, I thought he could have got a stronger hand of that, to be honest.
Could have done a bit better tip around the post or something. So, I did think he could have. Yeah.
But the shot never should have come in the first place.
No,
we can say that. 80s Gamer says, I'll announce it now, guys. 100% relegated next season if this cabbage stays in charge. God almighty. I mean, we could be relegated this season as yet, so we can't even talk about next season yet, because this is a lot to play for. And you know what? I was saying to John before, you look at Burnley and Southampton, pretty much safe now, okay? I know Southampton can still possibly go down, but they're in a similar position to Burnley. Not really much to play for anymore, right? We've now got Leicester, who are battling for a top 4. We've got Manchester City, who Guardiola will never accept defeat. So he is basically win or nothing. So Fulham have 2 games potentially against teams that are going to just say, well, do we really need to go in for that tackle? Do we really need to, do this or that in this game? Do we need to put ourselves at risk? I know they're professional footballers, but they do think like that. And that's the problem we've got. That's the danger we are in. Alan says, hi, Paul.
Teams that do have things to pay for still, like you said, and the likes of even if Man United get beat today, if the game does go ahead, they'll win the title today. But like I said, Guardiola will not let them do anything less than 100%, because they want to prove that they are champions. Leicester, I'm dreading, to be honest. I think that's going to be terrible for us. I don't want to see Vardy, what he can do against us. So today was our opportunity to pull away, but I think.
Well, he's been on a bit of a goal drought, hasn't he, Vardy? So step up Newcastle United.
Well, exactly again.
Alan says, hi, Paul, your opinion on Miggy, please. I mean, I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. I think he's a bit of an enigma, if I'm honest. I think, I don't think he's the player that we thought he was. I have to be honest. I haven't seen enough from Miggy to say, right, yes, he's been brilliant. He's been excellent for a long stretch of time, and then he's in a bad run of form. He hasn't done that for me. He's had the odd game where, yes, he's been outstanding, and he's run around a lot. He does run around a lot. We know that. He's got bags of energy. But what he hasn't got is an end product, and what he hasn't got at the minute is anything to offer the team. He that break in the first half just said everything to me. When he broke out, he should have played Wilson in. He pointed where he wanted the bloody ball, and then he just loses it. And it's not good enough. And people are saying, well, he's not playing in his normal position. He's been bruised. Yes, to a degree, he probably has. But if you're an international class player, you will, adapt to play in a position where you still have an impact on the game. And Miggy just doesn't. And I'm sorry, but he's I don't think that Miggy is the player that we maybe thought he was. I don't know about you, Jayde.
No, like I said, I'm a massive fan of him. Like I was when I was kind of patiently waiting for him to kind of hit the ground running. It took him a while to kind of find his feet in the Premier League, and there was glimpses where I thought this kid is going to be something special. Like kind of a few games, but then I love his commitment. I love the fact that he does run around. But like I say, the past few weeks there's just been no end product. He's losing the ball a lot. Like I say, I can't see what he brings to the team at the minute. Like he is a runner and he'll run up and down the pitch, but to what end? Like I could probably do nothing as long, but I could run around. I mean, like anyone can run around. But I know he came out this week and said he didn't say that he wanted to leave. But I don't know if that's true. Do you know what I mean? Because he just doesn't seem committed to the team anymore.
Here's a question for you, Jayde, right? Does Miggy, or is Miggy as popular as he is with the fans just because he runs around a lot? I know it sounds harsh to say, but because he gives that impression of he's putting 110% in, which fair enough. But is that why he's so popular with the fans? Because of the effort, but the product isn't there?
Do you know what? I think so, because I think as Newcastle fans, I think we all can admit that the only thing that we want is someone to give their 100% of the club, try their best. And then we've seen players come in, the likes of Perch, who weren't the best footballers, but kind of did give their all for the club, and we treat them as legends up here. We're going to talk about them now. But you have to say he showed glimpses of quality, but then I don't think the Premier League is for him, to be honest. I think it's too fast for him. I think he probably would be better in a different league. But I think it's just his smile, like he's a cheeky little chappy, and I do love him. But like I say, I can't actually explain why I love him. I think it is probably because he does run around, but I can't actually tell you what he gives Newcastle United right now. But
he's certainly not giving us anything at the minute. And maybe, I mean, I would love to see the likes of Matty and Elliot Anderson given a chance to come on and maybe, show what they can do.
Definitely Matty.
Some of the youngsters, maybe show these first teamers how to do it. Paul says, let's be honest, we've not improved all season. It's literally been luck. The passing is so slow and telegraphed. It's no wonder we struggle to score goals. We have zero game management also. He doesn't change it. He is inept. This is what I mean. He can't change anything during a match. He doesn't think about it. And as for, working out the opposition, Steve Bruce doesn't do that. He doesn't sort of, watch videos on the opposition and change the team to who we play. Steve Bruce is like, oh, well, we got a result last week. We'll put the same team out this week.
Like
that's all he ever does.
Him, isn't it?
It is. And that is not how you manage a club. That is not how you do it in the Premier League. You've got managers who will, Rafa to a degree, he was hard-arsed like that. I mean, I know I don't like going back to Rafa, but Rafa's the type of manager, it doesn't matter whether he's at Newcastle, Chelsea, Liverpool, whoever it was. He would change the side to play against that team he was up against. He wouldn't just say, oh, well, we won last week. It's going to be the same side. He adapted the team to play against who he was playing against. And Steve Bruce doesn't do that. It's just win and we keep the same side, or get a point, we keep the same side. It's awful. Peter, good afternoon, mate. On the beach today we were. I'll be glad when this season is over. Won't we all? I mean, Jesus Christ. Formation wasn't working and Bruce doesn't change anything. Exactly like I've just said. He doesn't have the brains or the balls to change anything. He's too worried about upsetting people. And this is what I mean between a hard-ass manager and a manager who just thinks he's everybody's mate, which is Steve Bruce. It's awful. Liam says, I'm done with this club if we don't get a takeover. Crony says, I missed the first 75 minutes. What's evaluation of what I missed? Usual Bruce bullshit. Go on, Jayde. Give him a sort of evaluation of the game, if you like.
So if you went to see 4-year-olds play at football against kind of a Northern League side, was probably how I would say. So I think we treated like a train, like, well, Arsenal were pretty much a training match. They literally had space to burn, were 11 men behind the ball, not really caring, couldn't really give a shit. When they got the ball up there, no one was there. Long ball, left, right, and centre up to no one, and just normal Bruce ball. That went back to how we were against Brighton. Like I said, like against Brighton, I was done with this club. I was absolutely done against Brighton. I was, you know what, like, if we're going to go out and get relegated playing like that, we deserve it. And then this is what they do. They give you a little bit of hope. I was like, all right, that's a bit of, it wasn't a massive improvement, but it was a little bit. It was more tenacious. There were a bit more fighting spirit. Kind of Matt Ritchie's kind of introduction to the team kind of gave us a little bit more of a fighting feel. And then again today, we've just, our arses have completely gone again. And like I said before, I do think that they think they're safe for some reason. But you need to go out every game and just fight. Like, there was nothing stopping us having a go at this team today. But we were second best all over the pitch. There's not one player I can say stood out and did well for us today.
No, definitely. Luke says, I see Jayde has a Hebburn shirt in the background. How are you, Hebburn? Yeah, they're playing tomorrow, aren't they?
Yeah, BT Sport, 1 o'clock. It's free for people to watch. Cheer on Hebburn unless you support Concert.
Yeah, I'm kind of in between the two. I'm sort of in between Hebburn and Concert here in little old Durham. So it'll be interesting. I'm probably going to sway towards Hebburn just to stay on your good side. Yeah. It's probably the correct thing to do. Callum says we need Shelvey out already. Yep. Luke says, please get this cabbage out. Derek, normal service has resumed. Shelvey must be sleeping with Bruce to play him every week. Yeah, I mean,
surprises.
We just need a cutthroat manager in here. We just need something to change, just something to give us a bit of inspiration. Tangy says Sheffield United would have beat us today, especially when they haven't got anything to play for but pride. And that's when you see teams who, have been terrible all season, when they're officially relegated, they suddenly start winning games. And and the pressure's off. They've got nothing to worry about. Go and play football, have a good time out there. And, they've got to come to Newcastle. So it's still worrying times for me now after that performance. Did Shelvey play more than one forward pass today? God knows. Well, if he did, they just all straight went to the opposition. But it's terrible because I said, halfway through the second half, it's like watching a rugby team. It's just passing back all the time to try and go forward. And, when we're in the opposition's half and it ends back with our goalkeeper, it's just a joke. It is an absolute joke. The main problem with our team is that we lack a leader. It's no good playing a style that doesn't suit your players. Scott Parker knows how to get the best of his players, unlike Bruce. I just want to see a 4-2-3-1. Is that so hard to ask for, Jayde?
But according to Bruce, it is, because obviously he stuck with the formation that's got him a couple of points. And like you said before, for a man that's been in football for so long and not to realise that you need to change it up for different teams because different teams play different styles. I don't understand why that's not registering with him. But why is no one around him questioning him on that? Or if they are, he's probably not listening. But you've got a team of experienced people at Newcastle. They've not just been in the game for a few months or a few years. They've been around a long, long time. And they are literally treat football like Newcastle's like a Sunday league team. Go out, lads, try your best, run around, score a goal, see what happens. But I can't see Bruce on the sideline shouting instructions. I don't see that at all. He's just stand there and he'll talk to the other Steve and he'll be like, well, what do you think? Oh, I don't know, what do you think? That is how I feel like they talk to each other because they haven't got a clue.
Or some foreign, out of this universe language that we don't understand.
I'm going to get a pizza. I might get a pizza too. I think it's literally what they talk about on the sidelines. It's just...
definitely.
It's baffling.
Billy said, fed up with this pile of shite week in, week out. The players save 2 or 3. The players save 2 or 3 plus the manager and his team would be pelted out of town if I had it my way. No pride, no inspiration, no anything. And that's what it was. It was dead in the water. Richie needs to ask Shelvey what Bruce eats every day because he's up Bruce's ass. Arsenal for Life says Newcastle are awful. Couldn't agree with you anymore. Yep. We I mean, he says there as well, Newcastle didn't even try. It was like a training session. And this is against Arsenal's reserve side. And the more you see it, the more the mind boggles. It really does. And the more it pisses you off, to be quite frank.
Yeah.
Kiwi says reality is it will be more of the same next season, which is torture. I honestly hope we get relegated next season if we don't get a takeover. I mean,
I don't understand that, like, I know we're not very good, but wishing relegation on your team, I can't see that at all. Like, I don't want us to go down, even if we are the same again next season. Like, we are a Premier League team and we need to stay like that. Yes, do we deserve to go down? Yes, we do. We're not very good. We don't look like a Premier League team. But if we went down, I'd be like, do you know what? We deserve that. I wouldn't be angry. Obviously, I'd be upset, but I wouldn't be angry about it because we deserve to be where we are. But for God's sake, I hope we don't. And I will never wish relegation on this team because obviously it's, like I said, if we go down, it'll be a disaster.
Yeah, I would absolutely be devastated if we went down, quite frankly. But that's just where we find ourselves at the minute. Billy says, no intelligence either. Why didn't anyone target Xhaka, which we spoke about before? There was just no target on him at all. Why did Shah dive in? Granted, it shouldn't have been a red, but there's no need to be making a challenge like that. And that's what you said before. It doesn't matter whether it was a red or not. He shouldn't be diving in like that. Just
when you do that, you're making the referee make a decision, aren't you? When you go down like that, you're kind of putting it in the referee's hands. And knowing Mike Dean, he was always going to bring out a red because he's a prick. But I don't think it probably was. It wasn't as bad as it looked, I think. But he was from behind, he stood up. So I can't disagree with the decision.
We've said that before about them sliding in recklessly like that. Shelby's done it before.
Oh, he's a liability.
Michael says, what have the players been doing all week on the training ground? On the drink with Bruce Boyd, judging by that performance. Nothing, exactly. Thanks for the 3 points. You're very, very welcome. Billy says, no confidence in getting the 3 points we need either. Sheffield United have no pressure on them at all.
I'm worried, Like, I don't think we'll walk into Sheffield United and win. Like, I think they'll give us a bit of a game, to be honest.
Well, the only plus point is it's at St James's Park. I mean,
we'll have fans. But then again, don't know. It's changed, hasn't it?
You what? Sorry.
I think it's changed to midweek so we can have fans in. I think that's what they've done.
Yeah. I mean, who would want to be a fan there? I mean, it's just going to be toxic, to be honest.
I'll stay as far away as I can, to be honest, because I think it'll just turn nasty, I think.
Yeah, it will. It will. I've lost all my comments again. What is going on here? This is what I really hate about... Right, there we go. Down. There we are. Right. David Smith says, if Shah was ascending off, then surely Xhaka should have been sent off as well. Yeah, he should have. I just hope Bruce doesn't come out at the end of the game and say, well, the Xhaka one should have been a sending off. That was a game turning incident, and it just wasn't.
Even with 10 really men, they would have been all over us. Still, I don't think them having a less man would have changed the game at all. Not at all.
No. Also, where are all the Steve Bruce and Joe Linton lovers now? I wish they would all F off. Don't deserve to be associated with this great club. Everyone's got their opinion, whether you agree with them or not. Miggy doesn't suit that position for me. Yes, he doesn't suit it at all. But if he's an international class player, you adapt. You still have some kind of impact on the game. But Miggy just hasn't, and he hasn't for a while now. He's only got 8 goals for us or something like that. It's not good enough.
Well, yeah, look like Jacob Murphy. I think obviously he didn't play well today at all. I think he got his arse handed to him on the right-hand side.
Mullered him first half, didn't
literally.
he?
But if you look at him, his position naturally isn't a left wing back. It's a right wing back. It's a right midfielder. But he's a professional footballer, so he's tried his best there and he's done okay there. I think the same with Miggy. Even if you're not in your natural position as a professional footballer playing in the Premier League and for an international footballer, you should be able to adapt your football. Yep. He's played in that position for a few weeks now, so he should kind of have a better idea of kind of what he needs to do. Moving forward, like you said before, like that was a very simple ball you needed to play to Wilson to get him in there, and he chose the wrong option to turn around and pass it back. But that's just like a footballing brain. Like you don't have to be in a certain position to try and get the ball forward to your teammates. It's just it is. I don't know if it's like from Bruce, but when they go forward, it's an instant. Like it's like they hit a barrier. They can't go too far. They stop and then they turn around. And I think that's been the most frustrating thing this season for us is the amount of time we go back. Like even from throw-ins in the opposition half.
It's pathetic.
Back.
It's just pathetic. Tangy says Miggy hasn't been the same since he came back from injury. It looks like he's protecting himself and preparing to move away from the tune in the summer. Jake says, to me, Miggy looks like good raw talent, but needs good coaching and direction to take him to the next level. But obviously, Bruce offers neither. David says 3 assists in nearly 3 years for Miggy. I mean, that's not good enough.
Is it?
It's just not.
Good enough at all.
Yep, it's the losing the ball that sickens me. Seems to happen in dangerous positions a lot. Yeah, I mean, Miggy has been guilty for that a few times, just losing the ball in really dodgy positions. Massive win for the Gunners. To be honest, I don't think it's a massive win for the Gunners. I don't think they were asked what the result was today. It just so happens that they had a much easier game than they could have ever have wished for. Coming into a side that you still know that you aren't safe from relegation, you're definitely not safe mathematically, and you expect a much tougher game, Newcastle, to come out and really go at you. Yet you suddenly find yourself saying, there's the ball, lads, have a kick about for 90 minutes and sod off back to London. That's exactly how it was. Why didn't they change as soon as they scored the second?
Because Steve Bruce is our manager.
Steve Bruce, exactly. I mean, we said that at the same time there. Quite strange. Buster says Ashley will give Bruce a raise and a contract extension at the end of the season. I could just see it. Yeah. Steve Bruce in charge next season is the stuff of nightmares, without a doubt. Your worst nightmares.
It's terrifying.
Billy says Shelby must have some dodgy photos of Steve Bruce. Something's not right, is it, really? I mean, if Fulham lose their next game, we would be safe. Yeah, I said that before, Michael. I think, if they do lose their next game, I think it's going to be pretty much impossible for them to get out of it. And, we can rest a little easier. However, let's not just overplay this, and let's not just say, oh, well, Fulham have been shite recently. They can still get the points. They can really still get the points. And Scott Parker, there is no way, Jayde, that Scott Parker will be letting Fulham players just think, we're relegated, sod it. He will be on them constantly this week.
I think he's coming from kind of his first managerial position. I think he's been brilliant, to be honest. Like the clips I have seen of him, like the way he kind of riles his team up. And yeah, they're in the position they are because, like you said, the beginning of the season didn't have a good run in. But a couple of times I've seen them play, I think they're a better team than we are going forward. Especially, I think they've got some really good attacking players. And I think Parker does bring out the best in them, and that's what you want from a manager. You want your manager to be riling you up, saying like, "Come on, we're not accepting relegation, and we're going to fight till the last game." Yeah. And I think that's what Steve Bruce lacks. And if someone said, "Do you want to swap Parker for Bruce right now?" I'd snatch your hands off. Absolutely snatch your hands off. I think he's a brilliant manager, and I think I would be excited to see what he does moving forward. To be honest, I think he will do well.
I'll have sudden Peter Parker, then my Scott Parker in a minute, Spider-Man himself. Alan says, would you play Fraser over Miggy? No, I don't have any faith in Fraser at all. I think he's a lazy bastard this season. I think he's just took us for a ride. People know my opinion on Ryan Fraser. I just think he's been a waste of money this season because he seems to go to Scotland and be fine and perfectly fit and run around like a blue-ass fly, score goals for them, comes back to Newcastle and he's, broke a toenail and can't play. So, for me, no. I would give Elliot Anderson a shot. I really would play Elliot Anderson, give him a go, drop Miggy to the bench. Maybe it's a kick up the arse Miggy needs, or just to say, you're not a guaranteed starter anymore. Give him the kick up the backside that he needs. But it's always going to be hanging over Miggy now, whether he did or he didn't say that he wanted to leave. This is going to be hanging over Miggy. And on his recent performances, you have to say that it hasn't been good enough, and that maybe he does want out the door. Paul says Bruce doesn't have any plan B when we can't manage a game. He throws forwards on hoping to snatch something. That's all he knows how to do. Perfectly correct. That's all we've seen Steve Bruce do, Jayde, when when we're behind, he just throws forwards on, lump the ball, and let's see if we can get something.
Yeah, how many times have we seen that? We've had 3-4 strikers on the pitch and absolutely nothing changes. And I think the most frustrating thing about kind of being under Bruce is that the players don't have to play well to start. I think he'll start with whatever team is fit and whatever team he can that really got performance. But even under Rafa, if you had a bad performance, even on good performances, you were still getting pointers off them. But these players could play absolutely diabolical, like Shelby, and you still know you're going to start. So what motivation have these players got to actually play well? Because they know they're going to get a start regardless, and they're getting paid regardless. So why would they want to play? And you say when there's no game plan for when we're losing, it'll literally get to 60, 70 minutes and you'll just throw more strikers on the pitch and hope for the best. But does he tell them where these strikers are playing? I think he put at the end, Wilson was like far left, and you had like Gale and Joe Linton in the middle, and I was like, what? When I see them all on the pitch, like, you have not been told what you're supposed to do, have you? Like, they're literally
that's the thing. They're all over
around.
the pitch. Yeah, they're all over the pitch. And this has been the problem for a long time. There doesn't seem any set instructions, if it's still 0-0, we'll do this. Or if we're one goal behind, we'll do this. Or if we're winning 1-0, we'll do this. There's no guidance from that touchline. There doesn't seem to be anything for these players when they come out to start a game that there is any sort of plan in place for them. It's always just reaction. We're never proactive to anything. We always react to it. And Steve Bruce is not the right man to react to anything. Conjo says, seen better pressing in Sunday League. Absolute amateurish performance from almost every single player today. Wing backs so far too deep. Sat far too deep, sorry. Almiron is such a shocking player at the minute too. Newcastle could lose out and still stay up. Fulham and West Brom are both dead in the water. I'm not saying anything like that now. I really are, because I genuinely think...
Come back and bite us in the arse, won't it?
Exactly. Bruce speaks Bruce. Bruce is nonsensical, slow, and horrible to witness. Yeah, I agree with that. Ginger says 5-3-2. What the F is that formation? Bruce says it's new. Fuck man, he's played for it almost 2 seasons. We have to scrap this 5 at the back and soon, because we are so far behind every other team playing these dinosaur tactics where we just don't look like we've got anything going forward. Bazza, good afternoon, mate. Toothless, spineless, no leadership, and that's just Shelvey. Don't get me started on the rest of the team. And Bruce, that's our captain he's talking about there. Can you actually believe that? I might be wrong, but I think most of the players see Bruce as more of a friend than a manager. He doesn't have to seem to have any dominant presence on the sideline like all other managers have. I said that before. No. I just really think that he thinks he's the mate, and we're one big sort of friendly family, if you like. That's not what we want to see from a manager. We need somebody ruthless who isn't going to put up with the bullshit that he sees on the pitch from the likes of Shelvey. Who's not going to be afraid to say, right, John Joe, you're playing shite. I'm whipping you off at halftime. Your effort's not there. Your attitude's wrong. Get him off the pitch. Instead
of doing that, you'd rather take off a defender to put on a midfielder and then have Shelvey in centre-back. Because he hasn't got the balls to say, Shelvey, you've been shit, come off. So he just changes his position to a position where I wouldn't want to see him ever. Honestly, he's spineless, he's a coward, and he just needs to get out of this football club. And it really scares me that he'll be here for years to come if we don't get a takeover. I know that Ashley's pushing for this one to go ahead. But honestly, at this point, I couldn't care less who comes in now, unless we need a change or things will get far out of control, will end up slipping down.
Yeah, I just want to see us go with a bit of ambition. Try and do something. Yeah. I'm sick now. It's been 14 years, 15 years of this Ashley crap where we've done nothing, where we just have no ambition, no cutthroat forward thinking, no nothing. It's just dead in the water. The club is dying. It's just at the minute we're just afloat, just floating along. And the problem is
season. That is our goal.
Buster says there's a reason Bruce has managed at 10 clubs. What's the longest he's stayed at one job? Exactly. He's just old dinosaur and needs out. Anyone heard about the protest at St James's Park today about Steve Bruce evicting a single mother and 2 kids because they complained about the mould? I haven't seen anything. The pics on 24/7 Magpie. Ginger says Paul Howes at Newcastle can't seem to protest like the top 6 sides. They may have money and great players, but the top 6 have never been treated like Newcastle fans by Ashley. I agree with that. He goes on to say, so if Newcastle fans don't rise up and do what these top 6 fans can get a crowd that big, Newcastle fans get what they ask for. Ashley's foot on your heads. You know what it is? I don't agree with what the Man United fans have done today. I totally disagree with that. There's reports of things inside the stadium were broken, broadcasting cameras, etc. I don't agree with that. Protest outside the ground, fair enough, like the Arsenal and Chelsea fans did. I haven't got a problem with that. I do think that though the Man United fans were wrong to do what they did, getting into the stadium and causing the game to be held up as it is at the minute. We don't know what's happening with it, but it's wrong in my opinion. But I do agree that we should be outside the ground. We should really be making our feelings known. And at the minute, we're just not. Carol says, ruined my hubby's birthday. Well, you can guarantee Newcastle spoil a birthday, undoubtedly. Andy says, Bruce has just said Arsenal were fantastic today and that he couldn't fault the players' endeavour.
Oh, I honestly believe he watches a different game than the rest of us do. His head, it's like a game in his head that he watches, and he just comes out with these stupid excuses. He's like, Premier League's hard, we tried though. I'm sick of these excuses. You just weren't good enough, and admit you weren't good enough, and just have some balls and admit you're out your depth here, and then go somewhere else where you feel more comfortable. You should never have left Sheffield Wednesday. That was literally your kind of level. And you can say you were supportive of Newcastle all you like, and it was your dream job. No, it wasn't. I've seen interviews of him saying that he'd rather Man United beat Newcastle, so he's not one of us at all. And if he was, he would have fucked off a long time ago. And I'm so sick of how people like pundits and kind of commentators defend the kid when he's literally done nothing. He's the worst manager I've ever seen in the hands of a Newcastle team. Yeah.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he's the worst manager we've had at the club. And we've had some shit. Jody says, Scott Parker is a decent manager despite how the season has worked out so far for Fulham. I'd certainly take him. Proper football man, none of this Bruce nonsense. You know, there was something on Twitter, wasn't there, showing Scott Parker doing a team talk with the Fulham lads, and I think it was in the hotel actually rather than the dressing room, but just talking, and the way he talks, the passion he shows, you just couldn't. I mean, Steve Bruce would only show that kind of passion over a Greg's pasty or a curry or a kebab. He wouldn't do that with his own players, and that's it's such a pain in the arse. Paul says, do you think we're safe yet? 2 hard games coming up. A win today would have sealed it. Fulham have to go to Man United. They may save us. Hey, let's not forget, Man United aren't, I know they've just won 6-2 against Roma, but, let's face it, Sheffield United went there and won. It's this season can throw up any kind of results, Jayde. And unfortunately, I don't think we're safe yet. A win today, yes, it would have sealed it. But Fulham also have some winnable games coming up that they will look at as winnable games. We have Leicester and Man City.
Yeah, I think until we are mathematically safe, we cannot say we'll think. Like last week, I was obviously a bit more confident last week that we will be safe. But until we are mathematically safe, anything can happen. We are so inconsistent and we are so poor that if I was a Fulham or even a West Brom supporter, I would be thinking, well, at least we've got a bit of a chance to catch them now still. Like I said, today, I think if we would have won today, I think I would have been extremely confident that we'll stay up. But until it is kind of confirmed that we definitely will be, I can't say at all. Like, I don't want to say I think we're safe, because I honestly can't see us getting dragged back into this, and it wouldn't surprise me at some point over the games against like Leicester and Man City that we do end up in that bottom 3. And my fear is if we get down there, we're not coming out.
Well, I mean, the thing is, Chipper says there, Bruce has come out and said he can't fault the effort of the players. I mean, what a disgraceful thing to say. I mean, those players didn't put any effort in to get anything out of the game, Jayde.
Well, exactly. Well, why should they now? They're literally getting praised for doing fuck all. So why should they actually do anything now? Like, what is the point? Because they are literally getting praise from their manager for literally being useless. You can't fault their effort. They did nothing. They showed no heart, no determination. They just sat back and took it from a bloody under-23 squad, half of them were. Like, it's absolutely shocking that your manager of a football club is coming out and saying that. Honestly, I'm getting really angry about it, because it's literally
get angry away. I mean,
it's baffling.
This is what gets me about Steve Bruce when he does this. He says, "Oh, I can't fault the effort of the players." So then players sitting in the dressing room and say, "Oh well, you know what? He's happy with that." Well,
exactly.
I would have gone in there and roasted every one of their fucking asses, right? I would have gone ballistic. I would have lost the plot. Things would have been thrown around, and they would have known exactly what I thought of their efforts today. And I tell you what, I wouldn't have put up with the efforts anyway. No. I would have seen that first 10 minutes, and I would have said, "Right, Shelby, sling your hook." I wouldn't have even had in the team anyway, so it doesn't really matter about that. I would have had players on the pitch, no matter how old they were, like Elliot Anderson, Matty Longstaff, players who give a shit about this football club. Get these youngsters on and show these waste of timers how to do it. These prima donnas who think they just can stroll around the pitch, not giving a shit about our football club, because that's what it boils down to. They don't give a damn about our football club that we care so deeply about. And that's what pisses me off. And it will piss me off for the rest of the season. Love the Newcastle accent, said Rodders. Well, thank you very much. Which is your favourite player? I haven't frigging got
None
one
of
at the
them.
minute, and I don't think Jayde has either.
No, not at all.
A2 said, if we'd done the kind of protest Man United did today, the fat cockney bastards would have left years ago. But too much infighting and bollocks about supporting the team, it never happened. I don't agree with what they did.
That's it, though. We fight between ourselves a ridiculous amount, and I think that's kind of what... But then I think people criticise other supporters for doing what they think is right, and what shouldn't happen. You support your club the way you want to support your club. But if we went in to do today as Man United did, we would have been crucified. When we protest against Mike Ashley, we're being ungrateful. You're only Newcastle United. You shouldn't. You should deserve to be where you are. You're not a big team anymore. But these fuckers, second in the league, and what more do they want? You're not the great Man United. Sir Alex Ferguson got you where you were, basically, with a bit of money. And now he's gone, you kind of pulled it back with Ollie and you're second in the league. What have you got to complain about? Yes, I'm not a fan of the Glaziers. I think they are, again, similar to Mike Ashley. But I'd swap you. I'd swap your positions right now. But like I say, I think we'd get crucified if we did what they did.
Oh, we'd be in for points deduction. We'd be, relegated, everything if we'd made a...
support that again.
Yeah.
You know, it's...
Yeah, but because it's Manchester United. Yeah. 80s Gamer says, still don't understand why Bruce won't play Andy Carroll over Joe Linton. I mean, why the hell did Andy Carroll not come on today? You know, if he's going to start putting the ball into the box... If you're going to boot the ball into the box, you need somebody like Andy Carroll. It's as simple as that. Looking forward to Leicester v Newcastle, says Leicester till I die. I'd like to get you on, mate, if you can DM us this week on Friday when we do... we'll be doing the preview of the game on Thursday because it's a Friday night kickoff. So I'd love to get you on my our preview show with me and Jayde if she's, got conveniently timed this week to turn up and do it. So drop us a DM on Twitter, mate, if you would, and get yourself on, and we'll get you on the show with me and Jayde next week for the preview. I was only joking there, by the way, Jayde. I wasn't having a slide dig, just in case you want to throw anything at me.
I'm not in the mood, Paul. Don't start.
I know. Exquisite says, Bruce is a bastard, doesn't show passion for our club, but there is no dill bread without the dildo. Yes, well said. Absolutely spot on. Last few comments. Let's hit the target with Jayde. A few more comments before we end. We're over an hour now, but these match reaction shows are getting much more popular. Taking way too much. This is actually unpleasant now. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Callan says, was Shah right to be sent off? I personally don't think. Well, it doesn't matter, Callan, to be honest, because as me and Jayde have both said, he shouldn't have made the tackle in the first place. He should have just stood him up. He wasn't going anywhere. It wasn't like he could spin round and automatically shoot. He just stand him up. There was no need to be that idiotic, really. Bruce trying to be every player's mate again. No backbone disgrace. Inshallah, I'm not sure what that means. Why don't we do what Manchester United fans have done? Because it's wrong. Break into the stadium, that's not the way to do it. I'm sorry. I'll stand by that. I don't agree with that. I agree with what the Arsenal fans and the Chelsea fans did. Yeah. The Arsenal and Chelsea fans. God, I know. Yeah, but it's not looking good, the stadium either.
Go and clean the fucker.
Exactly. It's got moss and everything growing on it. There'll be potatoes growing out the wall shortly. It's that mucky. Top to bottom whole. Yeah. Top to bottom whole club just going through the motions, like they resent having to fulfill these fixtures. That's exactly what it looks like. But they'll get a rocket up the arse and they'll get a shock when they're suddenly in the bottom three. Paul says, hope we don't get into a position where we need 3 points at Craven Cottage. 2 weeks ago, Gary Neville said Arsenal were a shambles, and of course we made them look great. We make everybody look great.
It's what we do best.
It is. It's what we do best, undoubtedly. Last few comments. Tangy says, any protest from Toon fans against Sheffield United at home would probably see us get deducted points from not being the top 6 club. Spot on. And that's what you said before. Ginger says, sorry, Paul, Carroll has done his shit. He may be, but he's better than Dwight Gale. If we're going to lump the ball into the penalty area, then we need somebody like Andy Carroll. What is the point of having 4 foot tall Dwight Gale in there to try and win headers? It's pointless. It is pointless. Ali Trozer, sorry I missed half of it. What were your thoughts on the game?
Not starting again.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's just shite. I mean, I can't put it any other way. We were dreadful from the off today. Arsenal certainly wouldn't have come into this game expecting such an easy game, like a training session. Let's knock it about, score a couple of goals, we'll travel back to London. Just an easy day out. It was just a day out for Arsenal, which was pathetic from us. As a Brighton fan, I hope you stay up, guys. Love the Newcastle fans. Cheers, Rodders. Appreciate that. Dave says Neville on another rant. Okay, I'll have to tune into that. Newcastle United support from India. Thank you very much. I think you're mad. But there you go. I hope everything. Yeah, I hope everything's okay out there for you guys, given what's going on with COVID at the minute. So hope you guys are staying safe out there. Didn't Gale get an assist last week? Really, you call that an assist? I think come on. It just bounced off him. It bounced off his head.
Knew about it, but technically it's an assist.
Well, it's more than Miggy's got lately anyway. Carroll isn't the greatest of strikers, only height, which is an advantage. Do you know what? I'm sorry, but Andy Carroll in his prime, I mean, he can play on the ground as well. I'm not going to knock Andy Carroll because in his prime
he holds it up well as well, though. Like, I think that's, again, he holds the ball up well to get people around him involved. Unless he can get the ball to Wilson, I've got no one else that can do that. So I don't know why. Yeah. And as a Newcastle supporter, you'll know what it means. At least give the kid a go. I don't understand what he's got to lose at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely. Lee says, wish Ashley and Co would have Bruce because he's an absolute disgrace to our great club. Here too, Paul, check the tweet from Acorn. I mentioned you in. Yeah, I will, mate. Don't worry. I'll check that after the show. Danielle says, what the fuck? I'm not sure who Danielle.
Exactly. Just about him in general.
Yeah. When I saw your lineup, I thought you were going to play all right.
Oh no, you can never think that.
I mean,
that's a bold assumption.
Yeah, I just don't. Watching Concert versus Heaven tomorrow. How a concert, says Lee.
Block him.
Oh, don't get on the wrong side of Jayde when she's in a bad mood. Mike says, I love dude, thanks. Jones 6 says support from Catalonia. Thank you very much. If you have enjoyed the show, guys, do smash the like button. It does help me build the channel, which me and Jayde wanted to do. Now she's officially my permanent co-host. So we do want to build the channel. There's going to be lots more shows to come with me and Jayde when we can actually get our heads together and decide what we want to try and do. But in the meantime, if you're new to the channel and you've enjoyed what you've seen, please do subscribe or consider subscribing. Lots more live shows on here, crazy shows as well, which start about football and then just go to pot. Tangy says, how are you, Hebben? I live in Jarrah. A2 says, Bruce literally evicted a mom and her kids because they protested mold in a property he is renting them. Okay. He's tried to correct the spelling of Hepburn there, and he's put Hepburn again. Tangy, get yourself sorted out. Exactly. So that's it for today's show. It's been very good for the comments and viewers again. It's been a fantastic turnout. But unfortunately, it wasn't the show that we wanted to do today because I would really rather have 3 points in the bag and celebrating definite safety. It is not over yet by any stretch of the imagination. If Fulham win their next game, it is game on again. But I do think if they lose the next game, then it is all safe. West Brom, I just can't see them getting out of it. I really can't. But only time will tell. Football is, as Jimmy Greaves said, it's a funny old game, and you never know what to expect in football. But thank you, Jayde, for coming on again. And actually, we haven't seen you drinking anything, Jayde.
See, only occasionally. Getting a reputation, you see, so you've got to calm it down.
Yeah, what's in front of you? Any drink?
No, it's empty.
It's empty. What was it?
Just a Corona.
Well, there you go. So, to all Jayde's fans out there, she's still drinking. Exactly. To be honest, I would have drunk a lot more than one bottle had I had any here today. I tell you, it was absolutely shocking.
Letters off.
Another one is I said last week, and you banged the drum. We were safe, and now you've changed your tune. Telling Luke we ain't safe yet after your comments last week, apart from that where we were dreadful. Listen, Ian, I'll eat humble pie, right? I thought we were safe. but we're not. And that after that performance, I agree with you completely. This is still in the reckoning, and it is still going to go down. Like I say, if Fulham don't win next week, I think we are safe. But I will eat humble pie and say I was wrong to say that last week, because we're not safe. There's a very challenging couple of weeks coming up. It'll be very interesting to see where we are in 2 weeks' time. But hey ho, we'll see. But Jayde, thanks for coming on. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday and Bank Holiday Monday. I will be back tomorrow night at 8:00 with what is the craziest show on YouTube. I'm quite convinced of that by now. It is the most close to the bone, crazy show that you'll ever want to see, which is the Four Horsemen of the Toon. It'll be me, Peter, John, and joining us tomorrow, making his debut, is Lee from NFTV. God help his soul. He won't be the same man ever again after being on the show for 2 hours tomorrow night. But I'm sure he'll have a laugh. I'm sure we all will have a laugh after having a bank holiday off, and then starting the week off with a really good howl. And then me and Jayde will be back at 7:30 Tuesday night with Fan Forum Live, where you can come on the show and have a chat with me and Jayde. It's getting more popular that we're getting lots of people coming on and having their say. I have a feeling that will be a busy one. Everyone coming on having their say on Steve Bruce, yes, and the defeat today. I think there'll be a lot of angry people coming on the show. But in the meantime, guys, thank you very much for watching. Do enjoy the rest of your day if you can after that dreadful performance. Have a lovely bank holiday and take care. We'll see you soon.
Bye, guys.
Be strong.